Hey, y'all, listen. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I can't believe it's December the 18th. I'm like, I got stuff to do, y'all. I got stuff to do, but you know what? I'm going to get it done this weekend because I ain't got no choice, okay? But listen, guys, listen. If you're in the building, you spending time with me tonight, I appreciate y'all, okay? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday night trending topics, and as usual, we got stuff to talk about. I'm dedicating this night to the employees. And I promise you, I could have had like 200 stories. I narrowed it down to 3. But literally, it was story after story after story after story because the employees are going through it. You know, this is what I will never understand. But again, I'm not a drinker. You know, I got my issues. I like to shop, and then shop some more. But I've never been a drinker. I don't drink at all, not even wine. I just don't drink. So, but I will never understand a drinker that you getting so pissy drunk that you acting the fool in public. And what people got to understand, and I don't understand how they don't understand, that this day and age when cameras are everywhere and you got a job and a livelihood to protect and you out in some bar acting a whole fool, pissy drunk, threatening to beat people up, falling over, and whatever the case may be. Now somebody videotape you, it goes viral, and next thing you know, your job talking about we don't know her, we don't want her no more, and she got terminated from our company because it doesn't follow our company values. First of all, in any economy, why would you want to lose your job that way? But for sure, in this economy, why would you want to lose your job because of your extracurricular outside activities? It's very sad. She got pissy drunk. I want to say she got arrested and she lost her job. So we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about this young lady. She was working, I think she said 19 years as a counselor, something like that. It's been a long time. That's been 9 years or 10 years, something like that. As a counselor, got sick, lost her job. Now her and her family of 5 are homeless. Very sad. It says she got degrees. She just fell on bad times, just like that. One illness, and it took her out. Her and the family are homeless. And she talks about the stigma that comes along with being homeless. It's a shame how people treat you when they think you don't have no money, when you homeless, when they think you down and out, they will treat you like trash. It's terrible. It's terrible the way people treat people. But we're going to talk about it. And the last person we're going to talk about is this Derek Williams on a police force in Mount Vernon, New Jersey, 19 years. 19 years. And he said he's sick. He has kidney disease now. He's on dialysis. And you know what? The dialysis and the doctors just said, can he go on light duty? They said there is no light duty. So December the 31st of this year, while he is sick, dealing with his kidney disease and dialysis, they fired him. He's been fighting to try to get off, like retire or get his pension or whatever. They're firing him. I mean, that has got to be one of the dirtiest things ever. So you won't have to pay this man his pension or pay his medical bills. He's getting fired. I don't even know how this is legal. But the employees are going through it. And you know, number 47, he did a talk the other night talking about the economy's better, life is better with him as a president. And you know him, he liked to trash all the previous presidents. And I'm not even going to get into a long talk about him because number 47 is number 47. It is what it is, and he is what he is. But he's claiming the economy is better. It's terrible. Like I said, the employees are going through it. But we're going to talk about it tonight. And it's time for me to bring the people in the building. So y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Pull aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Employee Night, okay? We got a career loss because you want to go out in the streets, get drunk as a skunk, fall over, the people videotaping you, you trying to fight people, and now you're jobless because you don't know how to control your alcohol. Got the underlying lady, homeless. Got sick, lost a job. We got Derek Williams on the 31st of this month. He got a few days. And he's going to be jobless while he's dealing with dialysis and kidney disease. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva, choo choo.
Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Listen, to everybody out there that is going through it right now in this economy, whether it is with the SNAP benefits, because they changing some more rules on the SNAP benefits come 2026. Whether you've been looking for a job, you out of a job, you got a laid off on the job, my prayers go out to you. We're going to go with this one young lady story first. I want to say she was a school counselor for a decade, she said. And now she is jobless. Let's hear her story.
Everybody just tends to think, oh, that'll never happen to me. But all it takes, a couple medical conditions happen at the same time and a couple of months off of work without disability. And time is quickly passing, and before you know it, it's like you've lost everything. I got my bachelor's degree. I got my master's. I'm a licensed counselor. And I've been doing it for a decade. And I went from being on food stamps and Medicaid to making over $60,000 a year. And now I went not only back to where I started, but I went back to beyond. I've never been in this position before.
Baby, I got you last night.
It started what would have been my third pregnancy in 23, and I was high risk. I started getting sick really quickly, and I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression at work, and I was out on medical leave, and it was unpaid for the majority of the time. My 9-year-old was having uncontrolled seizures. Our oldest daughter, she's now 15, she was having, a lot of depressive episodes. I lost the third pregnancy. And then I returned to work towards the fall of 23. But we got evicted. They let us come back. We tried to get, caught back up. But then I became pregnant in the beginning of 24, and it was another high-risk pregnancy. By that time, my husband had lost his delivery job. I was out again on unpaid medical leave. The eviction process had started again. And it's like some places and some people will treat you like a criminal. I know I've gotten into it. You need help, but you're criminalized. I feel like if everybody was more open about stuff, then maybe that would open the doors for more help. But a lot of people just suffer in silence, and so it's downsized how much people really need help.
Okay, baby.
The Salvation Army, the Center of Hope that takes women and children, I think they only have 300 so spaces available. So we've been homeless now since last September. I've hit rock bottom. I want to be back in the school. I want to be back making the amount of money that I know I'm worth. I want my girls to have stability at least.
Let me share screen again. She was a school counselor for a decade. Now her family of 5 is homeless. Most Americans are like Johnika Jamison, one crisis away from homelessness, according to the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness. Before the eviction, Jamison had a steady career. Charlotte, North Carolina is the day before Thanksgiving, and Johnika Jamison, 38, doesn't have holiday plans. She's wearing elephant print pajamas, snuggled in a hotel bed, and her oldest daughter, 15-year-old Eden, and her youngest 1-year-old Everly. Her middle daughter, 9-year-old Easton, is with her dad for the weekend. It's the quietest the hotel room has been in a while, she says. Her family has been living here for a couple of weeks. All 5 of them packed into the 2-bedroom space with a mini fridge, microwave, and a hot plate for a kitchen. Each day, she and her husband, Tristan Harris, scrounge together what cash they can get to pay for the next night's stay. More often than she liked, Jamison ends up calling her father to ask for a loan. She has no idea when or if she'll be able to pay him back. They've been homeless for 14 months, ever since Harris' multiple sclerosis flare and Jamison's difficult pregnancy led into a jobless summer and eventual eviction in September 2024. The family bounced around to different extended family members' houses and hotels for a year, separating for weeks at a time. Jamison says she and Harris spent one night in a car with the baby. The hotel they're in now is further from their parents and closer to a job Jamison held for 3 weeks in the fall before she was let go for taking too much time off to care for her family. It costs $100 per night, but at least staying there means they all can be together. Jamison gets a text from Eden's boyfriend's dad inviting the family to a Thanksgiving dinner the next day. Just the mention of her boyfriend's name makes Eden smile wild. They've only been together for 3 months, but she says it's been a good distraction from the chaos her family is going through. The next day, Jamison sends the family off to Thanksgiving feast. She stays at the hotel alone, enjoying a few hours of peace when nobody's calling my name. I don't want the only thing I do to be caregiving, Jamison says. She wants to work as a school counselor like she did for a decade before her world came crashing down. She wants her family to be back in stable housing, back to indulging in small luxuries that make life fun, like manicures and dance classes. She wants to build back up her savings. She wants a kitchen to be able to cook for her family and meal prep for the week. She wants Eden to be able to be a kid instead of trying to be a little adult all the time, changing Everly's diapers and feeding her bottles. Between scheduling her husband's neurology appointments, managing 9-year-old Easton's epilepsy symptoms, and following up with Everly's pediatrician about her cranial helmet to correct her severe plagiocephalia on top of the typical mental load of motherhood and less typical stress of homelessness, Jamison is in survival mode without a clear path forward. Things are really the worst that they've ever been, Jamison says, and it's really linked to me having to care for everybody else. Most Americans are like Jamison was 2 years ago, one crisis away from homelessness, according to the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness. Before the eviction, Jamison was in her 10th year working as a school counselor, making about $60,000 a year. Jamison's salary was par on the median income for American worker, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. But in today's economy, even workers who earn 6-figure salaries find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. Recent studies have found millions of people are at risk of homelessness, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness. With 2/3 of extreme low-income households spending 50% or more of their income on housing, opposed to the recommended 30%. Donald Whitehead, executive director for the National Coalition for the Homeless, says the homeless population could double in the next several years due to federal cutbacks in Medicaid and public housing. This is a common thing. There's just so many people who are right on the edge financially at all times, says Steve Berg, Chief Policy Officer for the National Alliance in Homelessness. Angela Williams, President and CEO of United Way Worldwide, agrees. Each of us is just one diagnosis or disaster away from the breaking point. Caregiving is a much bigger piece than people realize. When it comes to homelessness, every cent's child care costs rival the cost of rent, says Anne Marie, senior legal counsel for the Washington Legal Clinic for the Homeless in Washington, D.C. When families pivot to helping their loved ones with disabilities or medical issues, that extra expense can be enough to push them into being homeless very easily, Berg says. Family caregivers average 27 hours of care work per week, leaving them out of time to work professionally or to look for paid work, which becomes a problem when rent is due. I just need a little more time. Jamison loved her job as a school counselor, but being on unpaid medical leave for several months during her high-risk pregnancy in 2023 hurt her bank account, and she missed rent payments. Her blood sugar was dangerously high, and her liver was failing. It was a scary time, Harris and Eden say. Eden worried her mom was on her deathbed. In a written response to court filings about her unpaid rent, dated October 27, 2023, Jamison explained that her medical leave was unexpected and how she'd been given the runaround when trying to get workplace accommodation. I informed my landlord that I'm still trying to pay all past due rent, Jamison wrote. I just need a little more time. Jamison lost the baby and they got pregnant again with Everly. It was another high-risk pregnancy, and doctors tried to hospitalize her several times, Jamison said. I would sign myself out because I was like, I got to take care of my kids, she said. Jamison worked sporadically and cycled through pay and unpaid medical leave through 2024 and into 2025. Her contract with the school district wasn't renewed at the end of 2024 to 2025 school year. She liked to file a complaint with the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission, Employment Opportunity Commission, but says it's laughable how long and arduous the process is. She's drained her retirement contributions and didn't file for unemployment, but says her status is still pending resolution. The family was evicted in September 2024, and Everly was born 5 weeks prematurely the following month. While heartbreaking, Jamison's story isn't unique. Whitehead says, family homelessness saw the greatest increase in history, 39% from 2023 to 2024. And the journey out of homelessness can be near impossible for some families. Landlords are reluctant to rent to people with past evictions, Whitehead says. And to secure an apartment, family needs a substantial amount of money upfront to pay for the security deposit and their first month's rent. In the meantime, families like Jamison with little means have to choose between basic needs like healthcare, housing, and food. Those are tough choices that we are asking people to make, Williams says. Disability checks, shelter solutions are out of reach. The girls are doing better now, Jamison says. Easton's anti-seizure medication has done wonders, and Eden's new school is good for her. Both thanks to Jamison's tireless advocating on behalf of her daughters. Jamison says she'll never forget the appointment when Easton was diagnosed with epilepsy. It was awful to watch, Jamison says, recalling through tears how medical professionals stimulated Easton's seizures in order to diagnose her. At the same time, Jamison was relieved. Finally, she remembers thinking, I've got the proof I need to get my baby help. Harris started infusion therapy and can work some days when his symptoms, fatigue, muscle weakness, cognitive and emotional strain, gastrointestinal issues, etc., don't get in the way. Jamison says they tried to file for disability, but it is a long process. It's not enough to just have MS, Berg says. It's just a very complex process with a lot of ways to go wrong and sort of set up to be hard to do. Jamison has researched housing assistance and shelters in her area, but said there's never room for her family or she doesn't meet the criteria to get help. Some programs like Charlotte Family Housing require parents to have consistent work before setting them up with temporary housing. Government nonprofits need to rethink how to deliver services to people in need, Williams said. Jamison has a master's degree. She applies to counseling jobs all the time, but nothing has struck. She doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom, Jamison says, but she feels like even without a place to call home, it falls on me to figure out what comes next. The mad rush to get Eden and Easton off to school starts before 5:30 a.m. The two sisters share one of the hotel beds. Most of the nights, baby Everly wakes up in her playpen and insists on joining them. On a morning in mid-December, Everly sleeps in the bed while her sister takes turns using the bathroom and rummaging through various backpacks, tote bags, and suitcases to get dressed. There are only 3 dresser drawers and 1 small closet that the 5 of them share. Jamison supervises Easton's teeth brushing efforts and deflates when Eden comes back inside and says she missed the bus. With just 1 car and Harris off to secure a check for a few days of delivery work he performed last week, money that should buy them tonight's hotel stay, it could be a while before Eden gets a ride to school. When Harris returns empty-handed, Jamison starts to panic. Harris says he can't cash a check until after 9 a.m., but he needs to be at another job by 9:20. If he doesn't cash the check, they can't stay in the hotel tonight. If he doesn't work, they won't be able to pay for the hotel the next week. It falls on me to figure out what comes next, Jamison says. Today, she meant to get their food stamps and follow up on a job application. I'm juggling everything, and sometimes we're literally like just trying to survive. Everly wants to be held. She's ready. She really like to walk around, but Jamison just doesn't trust the hotel room floor. So the baby spends the day in her arms or napping in bed. Harris eventually gets his check, but he only works a half day. Jamison negotiates with the hotel manager and tidies up the room, stuffing away the tote bags and suitcases so a family has places to sit and sleep when they are all home again. Pretty soon, Easton is back from school and then Eden. Jamison is exhausted. She doesn't know what they'll do for dinner. I feel very mentally drained, Jamison says, even though I know there's still much to do that needs to be done. Easton heats up a pack of ramen noodles in the microwave. Eden takes a frozen chicken sandwich from the mini fridge and heats it up, settling on the same meal for breakfast and dinner. Then she feeds Everly some yogurt. The family spends their evenings cracking jokes and retelling old family story. Jamison plays Beyonce's Texas Hold'em from her phone, bribing Eden to dance for them by promising she can see her boyfriend over the weekend. Manipulation is at its peak. Eden says, moving Everly's playpen, I don't care. Jamison says, beaming at her firstborn, I love watching you dance. Tomorrow is Saturday. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me just let some more people in the building. Tomorrow's Saturday. It would be nice to go out and do something, but we don't have money, Jamison says. Maybe they'll go to the library. Maybe she'll donate plasma to pay for the next night's hotel stay. She thinks through her options, planning their days ahead, knowing her plans can be thwarted at any moment by a new emergency. Every plan, she says, plan A, B, C, D, E, F, that I tried to keep from getting to this point has fallen through. Since the story was published, several readers have asked how to help Jamison and her family. Jamison created a GoFundMe on December the 18th. Madeline Mitchell's role covering women in the caregiving economy at USA Today is supported by a partnership with Pivotal and Journalism funding partners. Founders do not participate in editorial input. I know this story was long. I just thought it was important to get through and have all of her information put out there. I have some opinions on it, but in my opinion, what are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first thing is she got a lot on her plate.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right. It's very hard to come back from once you get homeless. I done told everybody once before I was homeless as a single mom with 3 kids. It's easy to fall into. It's extremely hard to get out of.
Mm.
There are not a lot of services. People say this all the time. Oh, there's services out there to help you. What happens when you ask for help with these services is then you have to deal with the fact that the government may try to take your kids away from you.
Mm.
So you fight one battle on one end and you fight another battle on the other end. She's dealing with an extreme situation because she has kids that have health problems. Her and her husband, her boyfriend, are both having health problems. And it's hindering them from having the resources to get themselves out of what they in. I don't know how long it was since she applied for the disability services. I do know that process is very long. It's about a year to a year and a half. Um, I feel like she's close to her break point, her break, breaking through. She just gonna have to carry on. I pray for everybody in this economy because everything keep going up except for the money. And it's hard when you have babies and you only want the best for them. You don't want to revamp their life. You want to keep them in a safe environment. And everything is skyrocketing. It's high. The food is high. The resources are low. I don't know, what city or what state she's in, or what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what their resources are like. But I would tell her to check out the hood system. And that may be a better place for her to go. And the reason I say hood is because they not only does deal with the Section 8 and affordable housing, but they also deal with home buying process, different mortgages that can get you on. But then she has to deal with the part of the money part. You got to have stable income. I will say I don't know where her situation goes, but I'm praying for this family.
Mm-hmm. I'm praying for it too. So somebody in the chat says stop having babies. Um, I will say I was gonna wait to the end, but I will say I'm connecting with that. Um, I'm connecting with that, but I'll give my final commentary on that after I get through everybody. Savannah, your thoughts?
Well, Diva, I was there with you and the person that mentioned it in the chat. Um, this seems like a lot. I agree with you. In my opinion, that this woman has a lot on her plate. It is no secret that as of February of this year, there has been almost 400,000 African American women who have lost their jobs.
Mm.
And those are facts. Those cannot be disputed. Those are facts. For some reason, this administration is threatened by African American women. I think that that is his nemesis, being that he continues to try to take Letitia James down and has been unable to. We know Fannie Mae and other African American judges who have attacked him, in quotes, according to him. I agree the situation that she's in, it doesn't call for her to um, continue to bring more children into a dire situation. I was trying to see why is all this on her shoulders, because that's when we carry the burdens, we carry the load. Even if we have a partner with us, we tend to carry that angst on our shoulders. And she said she was educated. She said she has several degrees. But her children do have some health issues because I was like, why doesn't she go to a school or a daycare or um, it is extremely difficult right now to find jobs. Companies are not hiring. Um, and if you submit a resume, it has to be a certain format, has to have certain keywords in there. And companies are not looking to hire mothers with young babies, or if you're pregnant, or I mean, it is, I have gone through it for these last 5 months. I've gone through every scenario that you can think of. I did speak to someone recently, a PM, a project manager, who told me that there is a list. There is a list of people who have supported the government that they're not calling back, regardless of how many times that they apply. So depending on what role she had, whether it's state government, local government, or even federal, she might need to pivot and look at other industries. But I do pray that the situation does get better for her. She finds all the local resources, go to churches, lean more on family. But I need to see the partner, the dad, the husband, boyfriend, whatever he is. Uh, I wanted to hear, what are we doing together? Not what she's doing on her own, but what are we doing together to improve this situation? It's sad, but that's the state that we're in. The lies that are coming from the top, that this is an A plus 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 economy. We all know that that's a lie. Each and every single one of us, whether we go to the pump or to the grocery store, we know that our uh, paychecks are not stretching as much as they should before. So, and unfortunately, I believe it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. So I'll just continue to pray for her and hope that she does see a breakthrough soon.
Yeah. Uh-huh. 48.
Hey Diva panel chat. I'm agreeing with you too. Um, to have MS and still throw that thing around and make a baby is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that does bother me a lot when I hear about people being homeless, no matter like what the situation, is that it's organizations and their chair people and CEOs that make millions of dollars. And I just feel like you shouldn't make millions of dollars when you are, or you, okay, well, you shouldn't be making millions of dollars when something that you are supposed to be fixing isn't fixed.
Right.
Like, so if you have to have a livable wage, I'll give you that. But to be in the place where you can go to bed at night and you know that there are people coming to your organization every day and you have to turn them away, there's no excuse to me. There's hotel rooms, there's abandoned buildings. It's just no excuse to me. Like Savannah said, I do hope that it does get better for her family, but then she also has to take in like how we're seeing it, the optics of how it looks like. You have time enough to make a baby, that's a lot of caressing and stuff. A baby can happen in one night, but I mean, people do that often. So you I'm not saying that she not hurt and that she not in pain, but this is how people are going to look at it. If you're struggling so much, how can you have time to really do that? You should be thinking about something else and maybe sustain from that, even if you are married. Listen to your inner self, see what you're missing. You know what I'm saying? Try to put some things together and then get like a little hustle. It would be interesting to me too if she got online and just told her story. That could probably bring her in some money to tell her life with how it is living with MS and being in a hotel and taking care of her kids and stuff like that. But I do think that she does need to slow down on making the babies. And I think that the government and organizations need to step up and, use the money that they're getting from our tax dollars and grants and stuff like that, and use that money for what it's needed for to help the people.
Yeah, and I think the reason why she could use birth control, right? And the husband need to use something too. When you got both of y'all that seem to have some medical disabilities, again, she had lost the baby, then she got pregnant again right after. And it's like, girl, and then you already had two children that had a whole lot of medical situations that you had to deal with. Then on top of that, you was using your savings and being out of work because of the pregnancy, the high risk pregnancy, and all of that. Girl, you have got to make better choices. You a counselor, and I'm gonna need you to work on counsel yourself first. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, always there's two sides to every story, and I think it's, first of all, this woman, they've interviewed homeless people on the street, all over the place. And even though they were homeless and it was rough, they found something positive, that was happening, something good, something, this woman just ran off everything. She never said that personally herself she was sick. She brought this sickness on. Now, you had a high-risk pregnancy. And what happened? And for lack of words, you ain't got pot to piss in, no window to throw it out of, and you go have another one with another high risk. And now you complain that you can't get no job because you're sick and you got high risk. You didn't leave yourself a way out, and you damn sure didn't leave yourself a way for people to get in. How are they going to help you? You still having babies. You just doubled your trouble. Sure, babies are beautiful. But you're going to tell me y'all going to need to work it out somehow. Maybe right now you can't be a counselor. Maybe you got to flip burgers. Maybe you got to be a greeter at Walmart. Maybe you go work at some of these dollar stores.
Oh, okay now.
To make some money. But what you're telling me, everything is so bad. Everything is so bad that what is anybody else supposed to do? What are we going to do? You're sick. Your husband got MS. You got kids that got problems. How is anybody going to help you? How can they help you? What do you want from us? I hope she'll decide to have no more kids. That's it.
Respectfully, Wayne, I gotta say the same thing too. And then to say that you need a break from the kids, and the kids about to come home, and you don't trust the hotel room floor. I get it. I get it. Yeah, you right. Yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna move on. But it's employee night, people. So I'm about to move on. Okay. So the next story is I'm gonna do this Derek Williams from Mount Vernon, New York, and his story, it broke my heart. But this is what's going on in these streets today.
Tonight we have a story that will puzzle some and spark fury in others.
Yeah, especially during a time of being kind and thinking about others. A 19-year police veteran in Mount Vernon has kidney failure, and he is on dialysis.
Now, if you know anyone who has had this, you know what it means. But in his case, his doctors say he can work on light duty.
But here's the rub. The Mount Vernon Police Department says he can't work, and he's now being terminated December 31st, and that means no health insurance.
Happy holidays. Not. Here's Marcus Solis.
I do 9 hours of dialysis 7 days a week to maintain my health. Without that, I wouldn't survive.
Derek Williams describing his declining health, surrounded by retired Mount Vernon police officers supporting their brother in blue. Williams is a 19-year veteran, a former member of the Elite Emergency Service Unit. In 2020, he contracted COVID after months of working double shifts.
Derek's character caused him to come in and work and support this city and the residents of the city during the worst pandemic that we've had.
The department has classified Williams' kidney failure as a non-job related illness and stopped paying him when he became too sick to work. Doctors have cleared the 45-year-old for desk duty, and he's just 6 months shy of qualifying for a reduced pension. That request has been denied.
I begged for my job back. I begged to come in whatever hours that I can capable of doing, and I was told there's no light duty for me.
Earlier this month, Williams received a termination letter effective December 31st, which would not only end his career, it would cut off his health insurance.
I just feel like they had no empathy, they had no compassion.
To be just thrown like in the garbage, like it's over, it's ridiculous.
To be blunt, if you're terminating his employment, you're terminating his life in so many words.
Mount Vernon says it cannot comment on personnel matters. Williams has an application pending for a state disability pension and is on a kidney transplant waiting list. In Mount Vernon, Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
I mean, beyond sad. I can't even imagine. Hold on one second. I want to share screen again. So a 19-year police veteran in Mount Vernon who is 6 months from retirement and has kidney failure is being terminated at the end of the month. Derek Williams is on dialysis and his doctors say he can work on light duty, but the Mount Vernon Police Department, which is just north of New York City, said he can't work and is terminating him on December the 31st. I do 9 hours of dialysis 7 days a week to maintain my health. Without that, I wouldn't survive, Williams said. Williams described his declining health surrounded by retired Mount Vernon police officers who are supporting their brother in blue. Williams is a former member of the Elite Emergency Service Unit, contracted COVID-19 in 2020 after months of working double shifts. Derek's character caused him to come to work to support this city and the residents of this city during the worst pandemic that we had, says Sean Harris, the former Mount Vernon Police Commissioner. The department has classified Williams' kidney failure as a non-job related illness and stopped paying him when he became too sick to work. Doctors have cleared the 45-year-old for desk duty, and he is just 6 months shy of qualifying for a reduced pension. His request has been denied. I begged for my job back. I begged to come to whatever hours I'm capable of doing, and I was told there's no light duty for me, Williams said. Earlier this month, he received a termination letter effective December the 31st, which would not only end his career, but will also cut off his health insurance. I just feel like they have no empathy. They have no compassion, Williams said. Mount Vernon says it can't comment on personal matters. To be blunt, if you're terminating his employment, you're terminating his life. In so many words, Harris said. Williams has a pending application for a state disability pension and is on kidney transplant waiting list. Under H.R. 1, all end-stage renal disease, ESRD, for dialysis and transplant patients are eligible for Medicare. President Richard Nixon signed H.R. 1 into law in 1972, granting Medicare eligibility to those patients regardless of age. William does have SSI disability. His co-workers are raising funds to support Derek with his ongoing medical expenses, health insurance, and living costs. They said this is the only official GoFundMe page for Officer Williams. Very sad. This is another one with a GoFundMe. 19 years. Unbelievable. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This one was a hard one for me too. I saw this one and I literally cried because he serviced this city for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when he asked for 6 months, he didn't ask them to do it for a few more years, to get the full pension. He said 6 months.
6 months.
And they said no. You know, I keep saying that there are some people out there that take their job extremely too serious. Well, this city is telling them they take their job not serious at all.
Mm.
Because somebody who dedicated their life, they said he worked 2 shifts
Mm.
during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
putting himself on the duty, in line of duty, all the way through, even to the point where he got it. And if I need to explain that to anybody even better, people were unalive from this. It was so bad. They didn't even have a vaccination for it. I feel like this is a disservice to him. Out of 19 years, and when y'all needed him the most, he stepped up and did double shifts, and he couldn't get 6 months. It's a shame. I hope that the Family Care Act law can help him out and get him the justice that he needs, but he needs some justice.
Very sad. Savannah, your thoughts?
What it sounds like to me, Diva, is that he has a good lawsuit that he can bring against the police department. And I did a quick um, research over it just in the last month alone. How many officers were put on administrative leave for misconduct, whether it's social media posts or pow pow incidents or allegations of mishandling. So cities, as we know, like Chicago, Waterbury, Jacksonville, there's over 86 officers that were put on administrative leave for bad conduct over just the last month alone. And this man who is battling an illness, it's not that not for his conduct, not being um, not for his work performance. But this is an illness that he is battling. Still willing to come to work, sick and all, and still be at a desk and do admin. And the police department found him unfit.
Mm.
So I think at this time, Ben Crump, where are you? These are the stories that need to be out there front and center. And I just think he has a really good lawsuit on his hands where they're not only going to be paying him for any missed time off work, they're going to be paying for his treatments and making sure that this officer of 19 years, this is a veteran. This isn't somebody who just started a couple years ago. 19 years dedicated his life to that city. And not an easy city either. I
Ooh,
think he has a
you
good
better.
lawsuit. Yeah,
Yeah.
not an easy city. I'm pretty sure he has seen it all and been through it all. They owe him. They absolutely owe him.
Absolutely do. Thank you. 48.
I totally agree with Savannah. And then it also makes me feel like there does need to be some kind of police reform and some kind of like different supervisors or people that are in charge of looking at this stuff and making those decisions, because with the information that Savannah just said, it seems like, this could be something other than just, no, you're not doing your job, or no, we're not approving you. It seems like favoritism or something like that. And then he has something, not saying the other guys we don't know, but we definitely know that he has something that could possibly end his life. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's messed up. Like, when I hear stories like this, my little brother is a cop, so like I'm trying to be like very cool with this, but it makes me just look at them different. And I even have this like conversations with my little brother about it, because it's like, dang, how could you be a cop? But then I respect it, because we do need people in our community that look like us to protect us. But then it's like things like this happen, and it's like, but why you want to be a cop? You know they ain't gonna do you right. You hear all of these horror stories, you know, so it just sucks. And I hope that, like Savannah said, I hope he, just because they didn't want to give him the money that he earned, that they got to give him that, then some, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you, 48 Wayne.
You know, the sad thing about this is that I know Savannah said he should, you know, like try to sue him or something. This man don't look like he got that kind of time. He's on dialysis 7 days a week. I thought 3 days was a lot. 7 days a week, hoping he can get a transplant. And even if he could get insurance, or if he get, who's going to take somebody insurance? I'm going to give them insurance, and they already know got these pre-existing conditions. And especially by the end of the year, if the Affordable Care Act, the subsidies aren't continued. I mean, he got dealt a bad hand all the way around. I mean, you would think that the police department have something in their fund, some kind of protection. This man literally has nothing. He's hanging on by a thread. To look at the picture of him in that uniform and to see him as he was fighting for his life, he just ain't got that kind of time to be fighting with no lawyers. He's trying to fight to keep his health. That's it.
Whew, it's very sad. I hope he does sue too. I wonder if like he has a wife and kids, or if he's single. I don't know his background story, but you can see the drastic difference from like an earlier picture they showed of him to seeing him now. He just looks like a totally different person. To be so evil though, because like, you know, what would be the big deal? Because as you said, Wayne, yes, I heard of people going to dialysis 2 or 3 times a week, but he has to go 7. That means every single day he has to go to dialysis, and it's bad. So, you know, not for nothing though, as bad as this thing is, like, you wouldn't just go ahead, y'all can't pay a partial pension. Just evilness. Just evilness. Let me go ahead and roll into the last story. Now, this particular one, I really don't feel for her, because, you know, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And what people need to understand now is the jobs, they're firing people because they just need to let go and reduce their staff. So if you act a straight fool, then you're going to be at risk for getting let go. So San Francisco drunk woman, 5 feet tall and ready to rumble. This is when she started to get physical. She was at a bar. I'll read the rest, like a bar/restaurant. But let's just hear this speech.
3 over 1 3 over 10 floor. It's 811X refusing to leave. It's in a physical with the manager. X is a Latin female or white female, late 20s to early 30s, 5 feet. 3 over 12 hours backing.
And the line has been left open. There's not going to December by code 4 for the 4519 at Geneva, Naples, also for COA, UTL before.
It's 97 recording staff and still trying to get physical. 909 with Isabel.
We're still waiting for further. Either one 3 days back.
Let me just pause this. The woman made famous in a drunken San Francisco restaurant fiasco put up one hell of a fight with a staff before getting face planted, and she's only 5 feet tall. New dispatch audio reveals. TMZ obtained the audio from Broadcastify, which gives another window into what happened Saturday night with Shireen Afkari. Got into a battle with workers at Patsy's Pizza. Video gone viral shows a wasted Akari getting tossed out of the joint with her boyfriend. So this is a drunken video. Let's watch. A hot, stinking mess. So in the audio, the dispatcher describes her as a 5 foot tall woman in her late 20s or early 30s, trying to get physical with the bar staff. But as you know from the video, she didn't try to get physical. The pipe side patron went all WWE on the workers, even pulling the hair of one employee. Despite her scrappiness, she lost the fight in the end, getting tripped by someone and face planted on the sidewalk. Before that, she was body slammed to the floor inside the restaurant. And this is where she worked. They said, we are aware of an employee who exhibited extremely concerning off-hours behavior. We don't condone violence of any kind, and this does not reflect the standards we expect our team. This past Monday, we made the decision to end the individual's employment. The San Francisco Police Department responded and took her into custody for public intoxication. She was also fired from her job at the Fitness Act. And we reached out to her for a comment. So far, no word back yet. Her and the boyfriend was a hot, stinking mess. A hot, stinking mess. In my opinion, your thoughts?
She was pissy tail drunk. Baby, when you get this drunk out in public, it's a clear sign that you don't need to drink. Respectfully, I don't never tell nobody what they can and can't do. But I do say when you're doing this stuff, do it to a point where you're not this drunk, where you making these kind of choices. Because your choices can have lasting consequences, as she is getting to see right now. She's lost her whole job because she wanted to go out there and get pissy tail drunk and wanted to hit people and face plant and all kind of stuff. And the husband, boyfriend, whoever he was, wasn't no better. Okay, she was hitting on him and he was hitting on other people. I'm telling you, this was a whole mess. It looked like, I don't know what it looked like. It didn't look like WWE. It looked something else. It looked clownish. The audacity of these folks to come in there and try to destroy these folks' restaurant and ruin everybody else's good time because you got pissy tail drunk. This is somebody who should have stayed at home.
Her and the hot mess boyfriend, because he was pissy drunk too, and they both was fighting. This is just a disgusting hot mess. And now she lost her job. Now hold on 1 second. I'm coming to Savannah, but hold on 1 second. Let me just play this.
Francisco gas station after an explosion and fire. It happened just after 4:30 yesterday afternoon at the Shell, right near 16th and Guerrero in the Mission. Investigators say crews had been working to remove an underground fuel tank when an excavator hit the tank, causing backup fuel to flow into the lines and sparking the fire and explosion. Several buildings in the area were evacuated. One witness, who was at a restaurant right across the street, says the explosion rattled the building.
And I was looking this way too. I wasn't looking that way. I was looking this way, and as soon as I heard.
Hold on, that's not the one I want to show. Let's go here.
Construction resumed at a San Francisco gas station after.
Okay, they keep playing the gas station story first. I'll cue it up. And Savannah, go ahead.
Skip me on this one, Dylan.
I don't know.
Okay.
Several weeks.
48, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was funny to me. I laughed a lot. I really thought the face plant was very epic. I hope that's in the end of the year reel on YouTube. But her boyfriend, she might need to get a new one because like both of them was getting beat up. They lucky they was around other palm colored folks acting like that. Cause if this would have happened in Chicago, Compton, Long Beach, Stockton, Oakland, something like that, I think this would have been a bloody mess, you know.
It would have.
So I'm glad they was in San Francisco amongst their people and handled them right. But yeah, they definitely need to cut back on the drinking.
They do. And she lost her job now. And I wonder if he was even working. They was both a hot, drunken, stinking mess. Wayne, your thoughts?
Yeah, I hope they get all the fines and everything that gets associated with public intoxication, some community service. They don't need to be locked up, but they need to get all that stuff that comes along with public intoxication. And have their name blasted out there in social media just like this. That's it.
Thank you. Now I do want to just give an update really quickly. Let me on our previous story. Hold on one second. Let me share this and then we'll be out. This is it right here.
Story Tuesday night apparently left their feelings be known about the 19-year police veteran in Mount Vernon. 19 years on the force, and he was about to lose his job and his health insurance.
It's all because of kidney failure and dialysis, but the department is now offering the officer to return to work and keep his health insurance until he receives his state pension.
Which is about 6 months away. A very different kind of ending.
Here's Marcus Solis.
When it comes to catastrophic illness, there are heartstrings that are pulled, and there are other things that might need to be considered.
Mount Vernon's mayor weighing in on Derek Williams, the police officer facing termination December 31st. The former ESU cop has been unable to work for the last 2 years because of kidney failure.
I do 9 hours of dialysis 7 days a week to maintain my health. Without that, I wouldn't survive.
Williams says his health started to decline after contracting COVID during the height of the pandemic and says police brass ordered him back to work because his illness was non-work related. But the city says that determination was never made because Williams never filed paperwork under 207C, the state law that covers wages and medical expenses for police officers injured on the job.
We've gone and checked our records to make sure we didn't miss emails, miss any paperwork submitted. The bottom line is we're willing to meet.
More importantly, the city is extending an olive branch. Termination would cut off Williams' health insurance just 6 months shy of qualifying for a reduced pension.
He said he needed 6 months to apply for medical disability, and we're going to extend it for 6 months so that he can maintain his medical coverage that he continues to pay into.
The 45-year-old story has gone viral, generated kidney donation offers, and a GoFundMe page has been launched. The city says its decision is about extending grace, not saving face.
For me, it's not just about public pressure. I have to deal with public pressure every single day when I have to make decisions that are popular and some are unpopular.
Williams is suddenly facing developments on several fronts. He tells me he's considering the city's offer, but will only meet with department brass with the proper representation present. In Mount Vernon, Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
So I had to show that to y'all because y'all was spot on. Somebody say he need to sue. And he got a lawsuit. Well, honey, the story went viral and the people talked to him. Yeah, come on now, thank God. And that's why he said, nah, I'm only going to meet with y'all. I hopefully with his lawyer by his side. Because he definitely would have had a lawsuit. That was just evilness, unfairness, 19 years on the job. And when you get sick like that, his manager should have told him, you need to fill out this paperwork, that paperwork, so forth and so on. So HR failed him because when you are sick, you can't think straight. And he doing 7 days of dialysis. And she talking about she ain't saving face. It's the lies for me. Anybody want to say anything before I close out?
She is saving face. She is. Because here's the thing. These people were outrageous. They was outraged that this man couldn't get his last 6 months. She wasn't trying to do it before. He said he begged.
He sure did say that.
He said, I begged them to give me the 6 months that I needed. So you didn't have a change of heart for that reason, ma'am. You had a change of heart because of social media. And you didn't want to be out there. And the more I think about it, is Mount Vernon the same place where the firefighter was having these struggles too?
I gotta remind myself, in my opinion,
with the people telling him and had the leash. Anyway,
it was in New York. It was in New York.
I think it was Mount Vernon. I think they was the same story because I kept saying, "Dang, we heard another story," and then I said the firefighter. But here's the thing: he still needs to take their 6 months, and he still needs to look into legal actions because if he caught it doing in 2020. At the height of the pandemic, they didn't have no cure for it. So you knew he was sick. Whether he put in the paperwork or not, y'all knew he got it. You knew he was working double shifts. And y'all did nothing to step in and tell him to put the paperwork in or push the paperwork yourself. So y'all are still at fault. I want him to still sue them for everything that they worth.
That's why he said he coming with his lawyers. Go ahead, 48.
And I just hope that she realizes and smells the crap that she's in before her wide nose Clifford Courage the dog. Like, she looks like Courage the dog.
I appreciate you. Listen, everybody, y'all know the routine. If you know what, that's the power of social media now in the news and all of that. You know, everybody just need to find somebody to tell their story to, or go on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, and tell the story themselves and ask the people to share it. She's a whole lot talking about it ain't pressure. She deal with pressure every day. No, you saw how evil y'all was being to this man. 19 years on the job. I could see, maybe somebody just started or whatever the case may be. This man was 19 years on the job. And y'all couldn't do right by him. But y'all doing right.
Get reelected too, I'm sure.
But you know what, Wayne? That part. Yeah. Listen, y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the diva a favor. Hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Love y'all.
Love you back.